Okay, seems that we're live and we could start our live stream.
Perfect. Happy to be here.
Me too. So kindly, could you tell a little bit about yourself, about what you are doing before we move to our main topic of the decentralized autonomous organizations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. My name is Felix Mago. I'm the co-founder of DAO.digital, which is a business development and marketing unit based out of Asia for Dash, one of the top cryptocurrency projects out in the space. Not sure which ranking we have as of today on CoinMarketCap. It's something around 20, I believe. But we are, in fact, the longest running DAO in the world since 2014. Actually, far before the word DAO was ever invented. So I hope we have some time to talk about this project and about other DAO projects today. Dash, for all of you who don't know, stands for digital cash. So we are a payment-focused project out there with a very straightforward use case, and that is cryptocurrency payments. So our goal is to be accepted all over the world and have as many cool options to do stuff with your cryptocurrency beyond hodling. So happy to be here and happy to discuss DAOs today with you, Dmitry.
Awesome. I know basically the Dash cryptocurrency, basically it's very popular around the world. I know a lot of people are using this currency, and behind this cryptocurrency there is a huge community of different organizations, projects that are collaborating with each other. So could you tell a little bit about the story of the Dash Next? As I understand, you were the part of community of Dash, or maybe investor, and you had probably the idea of how to enlarge the customer base, how to make more users of Dash, and as I understand, you have proposed to the community your project. Community accepted it, and right now you are doing this project Dash Next. Am I correct, or could you tell a little bit the story?
Exactly, you are very much correct already, but let's get step by step to what Dash Next is and how it works within the whole Dash ecosystem. It's a bit hard to understand for most people who never looked into it, because it's really next level stuff, and this is why it's a bit hard to grasp at the beginning. But that's why let's break it down a little bit and let's take it step by step. So most of the blockchain projects out there, I mean, look at how they came into the world. Usually they did like kind of a fundraising with something ICO, IEO, IE, whatever, they collected money from people and then they start doing business, right? So as actually a normal organization, right? You have this kind of organizational structure is like a hierarchy. On the top is the boss, and the boss decides essentially all the levels down. And the more you are down on the ladder, like the lower your ranking in terms of power, usually salary and everything, right? So what a project usually does is takes funding and then starts to build whatever they think is needed, hire a tech team, hire a business team, hire a marketing team, right? Dash works essentially very different from that, because there is no Dash, there is no CEO in Dash. Dash is essentially a blockchain, an open source project, an open source technology that is out there in the world, and that is by producing one block after another, generating token rewards, right? And usually blockchain projects creating blocks and creating some tokens with every block, and these tokens usually go to miners. With Dash, it's a bit different, because Dash has a different distribution mechanism for these block rewards, and we say miners have a very important role for the network to do the security, but that's why they get rewarded, but they don't get 100% of the block rewards. They only get 45% of the block rewards. Another 45% goes to what we call masternodes, and masternodes are essentially decision makers within the Dash ecosystem. And what are they deciding for? They're deciding for the last 10% that is available from these block rewards, and this is what we call the treasury. And this treasury is exactly what you just described. Everybody can say, I have an idea, I want to do something for Dash, I want to contribute to the network. And because I do that, I have some costs, I have people to hire, I have bills to pay, and everybody can pitch for this funding and say, I have an idea, these are my deliverables, this is the time I will deliver, and ask for a fund to do that. And we have done that, or we actually were the first people who said, hey, Dash is not present in Asia, and we are very strong on the business development, on the marketing and partnership side. So let's put that as an idea to the Dash ecosystem and say, hey guys, what we want to do is we want to find as many integrations, merchant integrations as possible for Dash. We want to contribute with exchange integrations. We want to create ecosystems on the ground. We want to make people aware that you can pay with Dash. We want to run marketing campaigns. And we are based in Asia, so we're trying to go around as much as possible and spread the good word. So that was already a long talk, and I hope not too complicated. Yeah, I hope that was clear so far.
Actually discussed everything step by step. So basically, what is Dash, how it is working. For instance, there are three parts of money distribution. So the one is for the 5% go for the investors, right?
No, 45% goes to miners, 45% in miners.
To miners,
three things. Exactly. 45% miners, 45% masternodes, and 10% to the treasury. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And actually, you have proposed the offer of the Dash Next to the Dash community to use that 10% for the treasury, and basically Masternodes accepted this, and that's why you are doing this project. So that was the beginning, right?
Exactly. And maybe to add on that, because it's really an open ecosystem, everybody can participate, right? So in contrast to a normal organization, you cannot just be the CEO of any organization, right? And you cannot be just a decision maker for the organization. You might be able to buy shares of company and have voting rights, but with a couple of Apple stocks, you will not really influence the decision making within Apple, right? So for Dash, it's essentially that you buy 1,000 Dash, and if you stake them in a certain way to set up a masternode, it's a technical process, and people can, I'm happy to share info if you approach me how that is done. But if you set up a masternode, you have two rights. Number one is you get 45% of the rewards, which is essentially like a return on invest. If you annualize it, it's something roughly around 7%. And number two, you have a voting right for every proposal in the system. And you just said we pitch for the 10%. Yes, but we pitch only for a part of the 10%, right? So in total, Dash is generating, I would say, roughly 50,000 Dash per month in block rewards, and 10% of that, so roughly 5,000 Dash, is distributed to projects who pitch for these funds, right? So you always say, I want to have a share of this 5,000, and obviously, as I mean, you're not alone, and we're not pitching with elbows, but we look around and see what are the other proposals, how much they are asked for, and how much is available, and what is a good strategy to convince people that we really create value within this ecosystem.
Okay, that's nice. Before we move to this DAO process of how to contribute, how to create a proposal, I would like to actually to ask you to show how it is working on the Dash. Basically, you could show your screen and show how it is looking like on the website. But before we move to that section, kindly could you tell a little bit more about Dash Next? So what you are doing day by day, what are your goals right now, and how actually DAO.digital could help you with your project? Because we have different digital solutions. Basically, we have strong capabilities according integrating merchants. According myself, I'm 10 years in digital, so I was starting from the e-commerce, and I was basically the one of the first guys in Russia who was teaching others how to open e-commerce web stores. So I was showing how to create the website, how to integrate merchants, how to take money from customers, how to deliver goods, and etc. And later, basically 3 years ago, I moved to the crypto space, and now I have united two of these areas, one of the e-commerce, another into the crypto, and basically have could help you with this area, but I need more information about this. Kindly share this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I mean, let's explore what we can do and how we can do it together. I'm absolutely open, and for us, and this is exactly one core thing we are doing. We are building partnerships, and we're trying to get Dash to as many solutions and find as many partners as possible, number one. And number two, we really try to drive adoption and usage of Dash, because if you take like a bit of the big picture, we are in 2020, and in 29 Bitcoin was invented, and everybody was talking about now we're going to pay everything with cryptocurrencies, and we do not need fiat money anymore. Right now we're in 2020, and look around, it's still very limited where actually you can spend crypto money in a normal shop around the corner, right? So this is
for sure.
This is a very important thing we want to change, because as we see it, you have to start. It's a chicken and egg problem. You don't have merchants, you don't have people who spend it. You don't have people who spend it, you will not find merchants, right? So you have to start somewhere, and this is why we take a very pragmatic approach in Dash Next and say, hey, let's find cool solutions and let's find stuff people want to do, right? And there is no limitations in terms of what industries we cover and what industries we are interested in. It's rather bigger or less big opportunities for us, right? So we kicked off our project in Thailand, and Thailand being a very much tourism-driven country. So we thought, hey, it's actually interesting to give people options to travel with crypto money. And this is what we did. We onboarded travel platforms. We onboarded a whole merchant ecosystem, mostly in Bangkok, for restaurants, for tour guides, for stuff you would like to do in your holiday. We just entered the Philippine market, where it's one of the biggest remittances markets in the world, next to Mexico and the US. So definitely, sorry, I was just getting a message and was distracted. Definitely, for us, it's about the chances, but we are in many other industries. You were integrating stuff in merchants in the gambling industry, in the gaming industry. I was at the big cannabis conference in Malta last year for CBD, and also for the dispensaries in the United States. If you look at the United States market for the THC dispensaries, marijuana dispensaries, it's still a completely unbanked business world with huge cash flows. They really have a cash problem, if you want, right? Because they're not allowed to get bank accounts. So what we do really is finding solutions. And to find solutions, it's also not enough to go to a merchant and say, hey, now I install your wallet and you're able to deal with your crypto your own. This is such how it works, because as everybody who ever did the Bitcoin transfer and installed the wallet is very well aware of, it's damn complicated, and it's not self-explaining for most people that are not super technically, right? And to secure wallet keys and everything is not a trivial thing to do, number one. And number two, if you run a business, a usual feedback you get if you go to a merchant is saying, but what do I do with an asset that is so volatile, you know. I cannot deal with Bitcoin or Dash payments if maybe tomorrow it's 20% less than what it is today, right? I have to pay my bills, I have to pay my people. How can I do this? So what we find out is, in order to onboard a merchant, you have to provide them end-to-end solutions. And that means you have to partner before you do that with payment processors, payment companies, fiat on and off ramps. You have to be integrated at a lot of exchanges, you know, and it's a different story to onboard a merchant in Korea than it is in Japan, than it is in the United States or in Euro, right? You need different partners. And this is why what Dash Next is doing is exactly building these partnerships, connecting these dots, driving adoption by giving cool opportunities. And then what we do every time we have a new partner, we market the hell out of it. You know, we show people that it exists. We create press releases. We try to engage our communities. We try to bring them customers, because, you know, a merchant who makes business, extra business with cryptocurrency is a happy merchant and is a happy partner.
Oh, I see. It's a really complicated process to onboard new merchants to Dash. But could you share probably the one story of merchant that you have connected to Dash? So how you, where you started and how you have, what were the steps before connecting to the Dash? Could you?
Yeah, happy to do it. I think this Thailand use case we started off is actually a perfect example, because the way we approached it was saying, hey, what is the low-hanging fruit if we want to have the first merchant? So we went and checked the Bitcoin maps around the world, you know, and there's various of them saying, okay, what store in Bangkok accepts Bitcoin? Because we thought, if they accept Bitcoin, why don't accept Dash as well, right? So we went to every single shop only to find out, yeah, sorry, we don't accept Bitcoin. It's an old sign. You know, our boss back in 2016 was very excited, but then nobody ever came. So this was the first, you know, kind of disappointment when we went out. And it was a big learning for us, because, you know, this is exactly where we realized, you know, we cannot just go to a merchant and say, hey, please just use Dash. So this is why we took a step back. We found these fiat on and off ramps. We went back to the merchant and said, here, look, this is a complete solution, right? So this was step number one. And after we did step number two, going on and creating an ecosystem, right? And the moment we had like 50 to 100 merchants in Bangkok, we then thought, hey, now, you know, now we have a use case that makes sense to convince bigger merchants, right? So we took this use case and said, hey, look, this is what we did in Bangkok. Why don't you connect now your travel platform? So we went out to different travel platforms, and now we have quite a lot in the ecosystem. I think it's a total of over 4 million hotels you can book with Dash, which is Exotrip, Travala, Hotelier Mart, cheapair.com. You know, not all of them we integrated ourselves. That was a team effort of all the Dash teams around the world. But from us personally came a few of them, and you know, and the moment you have the first, you know, the step from 0 to 1 merchant is a big step. But once you manage that, the step to 50 merchant is only little in comparison. And the step from 50 merchants to the first hotel platform is a very big step. But the step from 1 to another hotel platform then is a smaller step, right? So my approach is always create a use case, show people that it makes sense what you offer, right? That you don't come and rip them off or offer them something cheesy, and then, you know, they are willing to work with you because they see the value of it.
Okay, how many merchants have you already connected to Dash?
It's actually a very, very long list of merchants we have connected, and on different levels. So it's really many. I lost track of the count. And you know, the important thing to note with that is that we have onboarded really like a door-to-door merchants, but this is obviously not where we see scalability for Dash. Where we see scalability is going out in small steps and then creating bigger use cases. So, you know, we have now a couple of hotel platforms, and I just mentioned 4.5 million hotels. So for me as a consumer, I can book hotels all around the world in Dash. And in fact, it is what I'm doing when I go somewhere. But if I'm at the hotel, it's not a Dash merchant per se, right? Because they only accept Dash via this platform we are partnering with.
Okay. What services or other services do you offer for merchants after you connect them to Dash? Probably you list them somewhere, probably you make kind of a promotion or other steps you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, this is a good start, right? So we say, hey, please, let's write a shared press release that we are now a partner. Let's share it with the community. What we do for smaller merchants also is like opening our local community channels. So for example, I have like a Mama's noodle shop here in Bangkok, right? So I tell her, hey, here's our Facebook group, here is our Telegram channel. If you want, post a photo of your noodle soup and show the people that you offer something in Dash, right? So use the free channels we provide you to do whatever promotion you can do, right? And I mean, I always find that also a nice example. Most of these like small restaurants and shops, they're already trying everything to do extra marketing. So for example, they're using platforms like Foodpanda, Deliveroo, or some food delivery platforms. And I mean, they pay a lot for using this. They pay like 30% they give to these platforms, which is maybe okay for offering service, right? But it's a lot of money for a small merchant. So we tell them, even if you give a 10% discount and you will get 10 extra people or 100 extra people, you still will save money than compared to you give 30% to a platform like this.
Yeah, I see. I have a question. I found different web stores that were saying that if you pay by Bitcoin, you have a 30% discount for this product. So basically, they are doing this because they will not pay any taxes from selling these goods or services. Do you have any issues with governments because you probably provide the solution that could where merchants could not pay taxes? Governments basically don't like this stuff. So do you have any stories about this?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we are not your how to cheat tax advisor. Of course, I expect everybody is doing correct business and everybody's ensuring that they are compliant with the law. If something is obviously illegal, this is not something I don't want to get involved in or be part of. We make we help the merchants on the opposite, to advise them how to do stuff. But I mean, you're mentioning also a valid point. It really depends where you are on is it worth it? Because obviously the bookkeeping is a cost factor, right? And paying taxes is not a cost factor only because you pay money for taxes, but because you need to do the bookkeeping before you can even pay taxes, right? And I think we have all seen many examples, especially from the United States, where the stuff is so complicated that that like the cost per transaction is so high in terms of bookkeeping that it's actually not worth to take cryptocurrencies, right? But there are other countries with other regulations and much more easy and forward thinking. So I mean, it's we try to help people to understand that. And also an important point to mention is we also talking to to governments all around the world, because we want to be compliant, we have to be compliant. And I mean, it's everything very new, and nobody knows, even the governments don't know how to do it. It's not that necessarily the governments are think, oh my God, these are all tax cheaters and these are all criminal people. No, they just don't understand the technology, So what we have realized is that the proactive you are, the better, and the more you talk to these people, the better, right? So we really have called them, just to find out it's nice people and they're very willing to talk with you because you provide them value. It's like you give them a free consulting session for the next regulation they might having to do anyway, right?
For sure. Unfortunately, in Russia, the government are developing new law that bans crypto in all spaces, even if you own crypto. Unfortunately, the Russian market would be closed for any these types of transactions, but successfully we're working on the global market, and we have other countries that probably support this initiative. For example, in Belarus, this is the neighbor country, they accepted, they allowed using crypto, and after doing this, the export of IT services raised on 40% for 3 years. So actually that's really good for government, for taxes and etc. So basically interesting stuff happening in the crypto space in different governments. But I think everything will be great. So we should move and adopt this technology for as many companies, members as possible. And basically, no one could refuse using crypto if everyone would be using this. So that's really interesting. So I would be really help you with any stuff you are doing. So basically, we're launching the DAO.digital, and one part of this is media. So where we create different interviews, events, and etc. Basically, what we're doing right now. And right now, I'm doing this like a contributor to the DAO.digital, not like owner of the project. So I want to build DAO.digital as a decentralized platform where anyone could collaborate and contribute different things. But the other part of this project is basically the marketplace where everyone could list their products and services. So I'm thinking to build digital marketplace where everyone could sell their professional services, different stuff like building websites and etc. And after discussing what you're talking about Dash, actually I'm interested to provide Dash solution for buyers to pay for goods and services. And the other step, basically, I would be glad to provide the solution for different members who would like to build their own website and accept crypto for their goods and services. And actually, I could provide the solution for anyone who would be ready for create their probably online web store for selling different stuff and using this Dash cryptocurrency. So basically, when I will do this, so I'll inform you. So and I hope that you will tell your community about these things. And
absolutely,
solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's take another maybe more private call to look into the details of the solution, because it's. And this is one big challenge we always have. Every online project is obviously a very individual project. The way a platform is set up, the way plugins work, the requirements you have for processing, for conversion, for risk management, all that kind of stuff has to be evaluated from in detail to provide a solution. I kind of have always like kind of a big tree in my head where we ask questions, are you like a high risk business? Do you need to convert your money back to fiat currency? Do you have a bank account? And blah 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 blah. It's like many questions until you find the proper solution. But yeah, I mean, there's a multitude of solutions and a multitude of ways. So I'm very, very happy to collaborate because I think it's a cool idea. It's a cool project you're doing there.
Okay, thank you. So let's move to the another probably practical part. So could you share your screen and show how you're communicating with DAO Dash? So how it is possible to offer the probably project to DAO to make a proposal. So maybe you could show useful examples of other projects or contributors.
You are taking me by surprise here, but I'm happy to improvise because I'm right now on the telephone. Let me just log in with another account to share.
Basically, I could share my screen. Just tell me where to.
Then go to nexus.org.
Nexus.org.
Yeah, as in NEXUS. Let me write it in the chat.
Yeah, I already opened.
Okay, perfect. And if you go to -nexus, please go to the leaderboard. Yeah, exactly. This is what we want to see. Perfect. So here you see essentially all the proposals. Maybe even better if you click 1 second to sorry.
Just navigate me where to click here.
Click 1 second, please, on the dashboard.
Dashboard.
Yes. So this is where we start. So here you see what I just described. You know, right now per month.
This is the monthly budget that's from the treasury.
The monthly budget. Of course, this goes a bit down with the cutting of token rewards per block. So right now it's 5,300 dash per month. 77% of that is currently allocated already. You see a little distribution. So most of the stuff is what is clustered as other. So it's usually kind of a mix between development, integration, and marketing, right? And the next proposal cycle, every 30 days is a proposal cycle. So if you put the proposal within a maximum of 30 days, you will get an answer if you get funded or not. And right now we're 7 days into the cycle, roughly, so 23 days and 7 hours to go, right? And now please click on the leaderboard.
So the voting process is the monthly. So everyone is voting for the proposals on the monthly basis. So
exactly.
This is the okay. So concepts. Click on concepts, right?
Exactly. So I mean, on the other hand, you know, it means if you take that and compare that to how does usually funding work, you know, let's take, for example, I think one nice example is that we had one proposal from the cannabis industry where it was a research proposal, where they said, I want to have genomic data of for cancer prevention and for medical research for THC plant or for marijuana plants on the blockchain, right? So if you ask for a research fund from a university, you can imagine how long you take from starting to write your proposal until you have the money on your bank account, right? If this, with the normal grant process of a university, if you manage to do that within 6 months, it's already lightning fast, you know? This researcher put this idea on the Dash blockchain, and within 20 days, he had the money on his bank account or on his account, you know, his Dash on the account. So just imagine how much time that saves for usual project funding, right? Maybe let's go to the leaderboard as the next. Click on leaderboard and live, please.
What is the concept? So I clicked on the concept here, and here are the.
Okay, it's always clever.
What is this?
It's always good, you know, if you never involved in the Dash community and you know you have an idea and you want to do something, right? Obviously, it's very hard to start a proposal if nobody knows you, right? And especially if you have like a high request for funding and you have, you know, nobody has ever seen you in the Dash community before. Of course, people will ask like, who are you? Why are you asking for so much money, right? So the concept, actually, there's a different stages, and always, I mean, I think if you want to get engaged into any community, you should start to get engaged. I think this is the first step. And after, you know, you start discussion, people start to discuss with you, see what you do. I think it's very clever that you don't put a proposal online in the first step. And this is why we have concepts. Concepts are essentially pre-proposal stage, right? So this is an idea you push out to the network to get an initial feedback, and if people really love your proposal, then put it online and put it in the blockchain to ask for the funding. If you hate your proposal, maybe rethink, reiterate, and pivot your idea, so this is where the concept button is for.
So basically this is the draft of the proposal. So you could just create a draft, get the feedback from the community, and understand if it's necessary to detailize this proposal and use your time for doing this.
Yes.
So if you get good feedback, so you just change the status of this concept or update this, and it becomes the proposal. Or you are doing creating another stuff. The proposal.
Yeah, there is a spam prevention mechanism built in, and this is you have to pay 5 dash to put a proposal to make it sharp to put a proposal really online. Right, so in order to prevent that you put random proposals, it costs 5 dash to put it online. And by the way, maybe this as a side note, it's even I try to always keep it a bit simple so people can follow and you don't lose people with over complexity. But in fact, this what we see now, Dash Nexus, is just one front end. There is another one called Dash Central, right? So this is essentially the mechanism is on the blockchain, and it's another question of who's now building something. So this, what we see now, Dash Nexus is in fact a proposal of people saying, I want to build a front end to make this application process more easy for people, right? So this is what they have built with Dash Nexus.
Okay, so your proposal should be in the list here somewhere.
My proposal, it will be again in, because we just ended our proposal cycle and it just dropped out from the system. We will put it online in the next 1 or 2 weeks, a new one.
I see.
But
so
let me show you.
First,
Yeah, we always
you
ask.
completed the stage.
You always ask for. Maybe I show you. That's better. It's more easy to understand. Go to Leaderboard and Live, and there we can see how this works. So these are some active proposals, right? On the left side, you see the number of votes. So the top one right now is a proposal called Dash Platform Incubator, and it has 919 plus votes. You see the person put it, it's Andy Freer. He got 924 plus and 5 negative votes. And this is why he has a net total of 924 minus 5 votes, right? So every masternode, and it's around 5,000 masternodes currently in the network, roughly, are what do I want to say? Can either vote positive, negative, or abstain from voting, right? So what you have to get as a proposal owner, you have to go over a threshold, and this is 10% of the positive net votes. That means there's 5,000 masternodes currently in the network. So you have to get 500 net positive votes. That is positive minus negative votes. Okay. So, and if you go now to the right side, so this proposal is passing because it has 919. That means it is above the threshold. And you see there, the red line of the threshold is what? 464 votes. So this is 10% of the masternodes, meaning we have 4,600 active masternodes right now. So this proposal on the top is passing. And if you go back to the top for a second, you see this is the second of 3 payments, and you as the proposal owner can choose how many payments do you want. You can choose anything between 1 and 24 months. You see the amount of Dash it's requested. In this case, he requests 155 Dash for a total of 3 months. This proposal is in month 2 of 3. And then there is, if this passes, then obviously the available budget is less for the next proposal. So it's as simple as that. And I think once you you observe it. And I mean, I think this is always a good recommendation of how to get in, how to start something, get engaged into the community, start dropping ideas in, maybe first of all in the Discord channel or in Telegram channel, start discussing with people, check what they are doing. And then the next step is, you know, watch what is happening in this system before you even put something. Just check, I don't know, every couple of days how things is different per day, what is changing, how are people voting, what are they commenting, what do they like, what do they don't like. And then, I mean, you get the feeling for it, you know. Nobody is a pro the first time they do it, but if you do it 10 times, 20 times, you get better and better, you know. And it's, again, it's about creating trust and really bringing value, you know. It's also not meant for, you know, obviously you can put a shitty proposal or a good proposal, and if you you can put a good idea and a good proposal, and if you get funded and you take the money and run, you know, this is not what will bring you any sustainable long-term success, right? So it's really about building trust, having good ideas, delivering great results.
Awesome, awesome. So I see here a lot of proposals. So are they limited by time here, or basically you could pay 5 dash, publish proposal here, and it starts listing here. So the other thing you have to do is start promoting it across the community and get these positive votes from the masternodes, or the proposal is limited by time here. So what is the process?
Yeah, it's exactly like you said. You put the proposal. I mean, if you click on sign up, you create an account, and then it will guide you step by step through the process. And I mean, let's talk a bit about the DAO element, right? Because actually we wanted to talk a lot about DAO. So I mean, what this does on a like high level is essentially taking the money available and distributing it in a completely automated way, and in a way that all rules in the systems were set beforehand, right? So in this case, there is a pot of Dash that comes from block rewards. This pot is distributed to people who putting proposals into the systems 1 time per month. And by setting up a proposal, you have to link your wallet address. It's okay, if my proposal passes, the funds will be paid out to this and this address, right? So this is the way it works, and this is the way essentially you create, like, as an organization, you would create like a highly automated finance department, let's say, right? And I think this is actually what is so exciting about DAOs, is that you can create very complex systems that interact with each other in a completely, preset and predefined rule set. So this definitely makes it very interesting. And I mean, Dash took this and and used this idea for the funds distribution within Dash. But I mean, in fact, there is no limitation on what you can do. You just said you want to do a marketplace where, it's like, where is the set of rules within this marketplace? There's other projects like DAOfest, who is doing it like to create community events on DAOs, right? There is other projects like DAOstack who are building kind of a toolbox to build other DAOs. So, it's kind of limitless what you can do with this principle. And I think the exciting part is that you actually think about organization in a different way, and you think about, how do actually a process work in an organization? How can I automate it? And how can I distribute the power and the decision making in a different way?
Awesome. What is the USD rate for one Dash? $77 or how much?
Yeah, something like that.
Something
yesterday
like
was
that.
yeah.
So
yesterday was 9.79 or something around that. Yeah.
That means if you would like to submit proposal, you have to pay probably 300-400 USD for doing this job.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it means that you have to be really confident about what you are doing. So, and actually you're investing this money for better future. What's happening with these 5 dashes? Are they going to the treasury, or they're escrowed for a period of time until you publish this proposal? Or if you would like to cancel this proposal, these dashes come back.
No,
so
they are gone, and I think most people will put that into the proposal to reimburse the proposal fee, you know. So if you have a proposal with and asking for 5 dash, you know, you actually should ask for 10 dash to reimburse the 5 dash you pay. So I think that's the way most people handle it. But I mean, yeah, it's really on you and it's on the proposal owner. But again, it's really a spam prevention mechanism, because if it would be for free, it would be full of proposals most likely, you know. So I think it's a clever way to do. And I mean, also to give you a backstory, right? One of the Dash developers from the early days was explaining that for me. You know, when you set up the blockchain, you have the idea you want to do spam prevention and you want to put the price on it. But when Dash started, obviously 5 Dash was not $400. So we even had a very good point where 1 Dash was over $1,000, almost $1,500, you know. And it's a bit of a problem, but you know, it's kind of hard to design a system when you don't know what is going to happen in 3 years or 5 years time. So yeah, I think that's a big learning for many projects to do, you know, to be to have flexibility on the rule set they define.
Okay, I see. So I'm looking for these proposals. So the budget limit says dash unallocated, and we have a lot of proposals with negative voting from the Masternodes. If that means that they were not using correctly the concept stage before publishing this concept, and they were not probably communicated enough with the Masternode community before submitting this proposal.
Yeah, there's different reasons why. Yeah, in general that's correct, but there's always different reasons why, you know, you don't get voted. It's rather that your proposal is not convincing enough, that there's no business case, that people don't trust in your skills to execute, or that you are maybe too or not nice enough on social media. You know, it's like it depends. It has many different reasons, but you know, at the end of the day, it's what I said before. Let's look at what makes a proposal positive and passing. And what makes a proposal positive and passing is that you have trust, that you have the references, that you can do what you promised to do, that your story makes sense, that your business case makes sense. And yeah, and I think then you have all chances and fair chances. Yeah. And maybe one important thing, you know, this is what also fascinates me so much in this DAO system. It's that it's really a very democratic and open system. I mean, just think about a normal organization. Think about somebody from Latin America or from Africa applying for a job in Europe, in Russia, or in the US, right? It's essentially impossible, right? And you will not get a work permission just that easy. You know, it's a super complicated process. Neither the company doesn't even want to deal with it in many cases, you know. So at the end of the day, it's a very democratic way. And, you know, it doesn't matter where you are. It depends, what I said before, on the trust, on the skills, on the references you have. And, you know, it's more, you design your own job, you create your own destiny, that then I rely on a centralized organization with highly opaque inclusion mechanisms and HR departments. And I never get any feedback on my application. You know, I can send out 70 applications and I will never get any feedback. maybe I will get the letter, sorry, we didn't take you, but you never know why, you know. So
Yeah,
I think it's a very good alternative.
for sure, for sure. Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing this very useful knowledge. Basically, it's very new stuff for everyone. So everyone used to doing the old school stuff with a lot of bureaucracy and other things. And basically, this is the another type of doing business, managing organizations, and probably this could fit to a lot of other communities, organizations, and etc. And basically, I'll be glad to implement these things probably to our community. So, and basically, to start doing this, you have to practice. Basically, probably one time it's not successful, but another time it would be working. And on the third time, you could teach others to do this stuff, and it will be like a snowball. And tomorrow you realize that everyone is using this system. So that's really great. So
yeah, I agree, and
thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. But the offer is, you know, for everybody also who's watching. I mean, reach out to us. We're super happy to talk about it and to explain people and to see stuff is happening. Because, you know, I really believe in the social value of what we are doing, and the social value is really what I just described with, you know, it's much more of a fair chance for people to do something. And also, I think for many blockchain projects, you know, it's something they can learn from, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not about having a free ambassador program where you do stuff for free by investing a lot of your time. I'm not sure if that's the most successful way a project can do stuff. So I think it's, you know, we all talk about fair incentives for everybody, for all stakeholders. And I really think this is the way you can structure and design fair incentives for people to be involved in something and grow something together.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So I'm really happy that you joined us today, and we'll be happy to collaborate with your project on the next. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Dmitry. And yeah, let's talk soon. Have a good day.